In TKM Extreme this year in the British Championships, the Fowler brothers, Joe and Sam, have both led the championship at different points. Joe led the championship after round one, but you've fallen away a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about that. And then Sam, you had the big sickener at the last round. You were leading the championship by, I think it was 22 points at one point. Unfortunately, then DNF'd, and you've ended up, I think, 5th place. But let's ask you, Joe, first. You were coming into this championship in the British Championships this year with a view to just having a little bit of fun, and then you ended up having a stellar first round and then thought, well, I may as well stay and try and win it. But what's gone wrong since then?
Well, at Clay, I was sort of top 5 all weekend until I got a bumper penalty in final 1. And then Rowra, the 3rd round, I was not so good in quali in the wet, but then won both the dry races and then had a puncture in the final. And then at Shenny, we had engine problems all weekend. So it's been unlucky. Yeah, very unlucky. And for you, Sam, you've been very consistent all season through pretty much. And then at Shennington last time, fantastic lead. It was all going right for you. The championship leader was having an absolute nightmare, Adam Sparrow. You led by 22 points. And then what happened?
The fuel pipe was just about rubbing on the floor. So just about rubbed through. And I grabbed it straight away, sort of figured out what it was, tried to cover it with my glove, but it didn't work because obviously the air could seep through the gloves, so
yeah, it's a bit of a sickener for you. You've ended up 5th, I think you're 5th place in the championship now, but how much, you can move a bit closer, here's your brother, there you go. How much competitiveness is there between you two now you're in the same class?
Not too much, really, considering it's like over the length of the whole championship. It's more working together and trying to, get the best out of the kart, get the best results.
And you've got that family relationship, you work together and you want the best for Sam, and I'm sure you want the best for Joe as well, your younger brother. Now, I did say you spent a year in the wilderness, didn't you, in that other class that we won't mention today. How glad are you to be back, though?
Well, I don't think it was too bad of a year. It was
bad.
I didn't get the results, but I learnt a lot about driving, and against a competitive grid, it was hard to race. And I've come back this year, and I think I'm a lot stronger now than I would have been if I moved straight from junior TKM.
Okay, and what about this weekend, guys? Who do you think's got the pace? Who's looking good at the moment? Can either of you win it? I know you can win it. Will you win it?
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay,
rains, maybe.
Okay, it looks like it might rain. The weather's just about getting up at the moment. What about you, Joe? You looking good this weekend so far?
Not so good again. Having more problems this weekend, so.
Okay, well, good luck to both of you. Well, both the brothers will be in the TKM Extreme Elite Final later in the programme. You can catch up with them then. But first up, it's the Festival Cup race for those drivers that didn't manage to make that Elite Final. Grid positions on your screen now, and Jake, a few names to note. Suzanne Gutsold is back. She's down the back of the grid, as is Jake Campbell-Mills.
Not only that, Alan, but pole sitter is supposed to be the 88 of Leighton, but it's actually Haynes who's going to go for the lead on the inside line from 3rd on the grid. There is no sign of Leighton at the front of the grid. I'm trying to pick him out to see if he ended up joining later in the field, but he's now battling with Charlie Machen, the 30 of David Haynes, as they all pick their way through into Derricks for the first time. Looks as though it's a clean start. Did not see Will Leighton there at all.
No Will Leighton as far as I can see there, Jake, as they all went through, looking at the back of the car. Sometimes he uses his way to spot the numbers. Certainly didn't see his number. Looks like he's not made the grid.
Well, Machen's going for the lead already. Machen goes for the lead there and gets past David Haynes, the man in 3rd. Alex Reddy is getting himself into position near and behind as Machen passes Haynes and signals to him, come on, let's get away from the field. Meanwhile, making the move there to try and get into 4th is the 61 of Newman. So Jodie Newman trying to get through and past the 91 of Alex Lemon, but didn't quite make the move stick. Now there is a kart parked up on the exit of the Yamitsu Straight in the runoff area. I wonder if that is Leighton's kart. We'll try and pick it out later if we can, but I have a feeling this Festival Cup is going to get too frenetic for us to keep an eye on it. But for the moment, certainly there's no Leighton on my timing screen either, so he's out of this one, unfortunately, having expected to start from the front. But that point you made at the start, there are some big names in this one. Jake Campbell-Mills, a former winner in the British Championship at junior level, and let's not forget, back in 2013, the greatest TKM festival race of them all, if you forget, he was the one of the 20 or so drivers battling through the fray who ended up getting spat out at Derrick's in the middle of that amazing scrap towards the tail end of that race. So he knows how to go fast around here. He's incredibly talented, and he's going to be one to watch for definite. As up the inside, goodness me, that was Jodine Newman again having another go at Alex Lemon. Wasn't able to make the move stick, but she is definitely going for broke here, as they're in third position. That is Alex Reddy on the back of David Haynes, taking advantage of the fact that he had a clean run to the first corner. No problem at all as they run on lap 3. Charlie Machen into Kimbolton corner. You get a really good run off this turn and use the curbs back on the power and up towards Stowe corner. So back onto the power they come once again and into that tight right-hander. Nice move from Machen, Haynes, Reddy, Lemon, Jodine Newman, and in the 49 in 6th position it is Jon Francis Jones. So as they go through, nice little tussles, pick out your favourite racer as they dip their way through that Willows chicane down the Yamitsu Straight and into Derrick's corner. Fantastic static shot here. You can really see how much the drivers are riding the curbs on the inside of the left-hander of that section. They come through Dan Weldon, and that isn't off. A retirement there from mechanical problems. That, I'm afraid to say, is Jack Buckingham. Big problems for Buckingham. He's going to bring it to an absolute standstill down to the pits. It's all gone wrong for Jack Buckingham, and that's a real shame. He was looking good for a decent result there, but it's not going to go his way, unfortunately, on the 55. So they make their way through to the first corner once again. That's a big dive up the inside there from 34, Leanna Page, and she has made the move stick there. Brilliant to see such a great diversity of the grid here. Big names and new faces. Charlie Machen on a spin. That is the 91 that's gone around, I'm afraid. So Alex Lemon in the middle of that pack for the top 6. Lemon dives down the order, unfortunately. Let's look at how he did it again.
Jodine Newman involved, I think.
Oh,
there
yes, Newman made the move on Lemon. There was not enough room for both of them to get through, and Lemon, unfortunately, was the one who ended up getting spat out.
Now, if that's been seen by the clerk, as others take to the grass as well.
One of them was the 19 of Curtis Granger. I didn't see the other one, unfortunately, and, well, a big move there from the 67 of Reese Cullen-Jones to dive up the inside and take avoiding action. But yes, look, it has been spotted. Newman's been given the warning.
Exactly, warning straight out, so some BDI marshal up there has noticed it, and if you're doing the overtaking, said it a million times before, say it again, it's up to you to do it cleanly. You have to make the move cleanly, and if your front nose cone clips somebody's rear wheel, unless of course it's in Formula One, you are going to be held responsible all day long. So that's a warning. She may get a black flag if they take that sort of dim view, or they may investigate it afterwards.
Now, what this move has done is basically separated the rest of the field out as we look at the parked cart of Jamie Sherratt there. It was in the foreground, the 28, the novice. Unfortunately, his race is over. We didn't see what happened to him, but Sherratt sadly out of the race too. Now, these two, because of that incident between Newman and Lemon, it separated the field out. They're now 3 seconds off the back of Alex Reddy. Look, that's the gap. And now that is Jon Francis Jones trying to hang on in front of Jodine Newman, and this is for 4th position, but the top 3 are away and clear. In fact, Charlie Machen is almost away and clear from Haynes. He's actually got an 0.8 of a second gap, who's got, well, Haynes has got 0.7 on Reddy as well, so the top 3 are actually a bit separated. The race battle, the big drama, could actually end up being for 4th position downwards. Up to 6th place now has come the 56 of Jake Campbell-Mills. So goodness me, Jake Campbell-Mills has been charging his way through the field. He took advantage of those couple of misdemeanors from other drivers. And look, where is he? 6th position. He's now just managed to get his way past Liana Page into 7th.
Suzanne Gutsold up to 14th as they went through the line. She started right down the back of the field. So Suzanne in her comeback drive this weekend doing well. Where's Jake Campbell-Mills? He's well up the field.
6th position, yep, 1 second off the back of Jodine Newman, so Jake Campbell-Mills is flying.
From the back row.
Yep, well, Suzanne Gutsold making progress up to 13th now, just trying to close in on the 62 of James Hull. I've always got a bit of a soft spot for the Gutsold family. Suzanne once said to me, well, if you're ever fancying going to the Isle of Man TT, Jake, There's always a spare room at our house. You can go and have a look if you want to. And considering how tempting that is an offer nowadays at the Isle of Man TT, who doesn't want to go and see it? I've always got a... Oh, bit of an incident. That is the 62. That has gone terribly wrong, unfortunately, for James Hull, who was battling there with the 73. Now, was it Charlie Mooney he actually came together with? I didn't see who that was. I think it might have been.
We never saw the start of it. We just saw the end of it.
Well,
He pulls
James
the cart
Hull,
away.
two unfortunate incidents there in the last 5 minutes, and James Hull unfortunately is now out of the race himself by the look of it. What a shame. He was in there just behind Suzanne Gutsold, and it was Moody who's lost a few places, so we can only assume that he was involved in that one as well. Meanwhile, the top three getting well clear. So Machen still leading from Haynes. Ready. Oh, that's a nice move from Newman. Finally gets the move done there on Johan Francis Jones, with Jodie Newman next up in front of Jake Campbell-Mills.
Moody's been put back into the second place, Jake. I think that looks like it was a transponder problem.
Yes, I think it might have been. And the 72 was in that, has been put into the lead as well. Maria Bright, and she's not in the lead of the race, unfortunately, as much as she'd like to be. But that is a timing error for the pair of them. But Machen is still leading. Haynes second from Reddy. Jodie Newman. Then Johan Francis Jones up the inside. That is a good move from Jake Campbell-Mills there. Hang on, is that Jodie Newman actually making the move forward? Well, it's Newman. No, Newman's still back into fourth place. Sorry. Then it is Liana Page. No, sorry, that is the 56 of Jake Campbell-Mills. They've got very similar appearances of their car. Liana Page is the one behind Johan Francis Jones. That's the 34 of Page. Then it is the 24 of Matthew Horton. This is the exciting thing with having it a one-day weekend. We're having to learn brand new numbers, brand new karts in a field of drivers for the first time, and we're still getting used to it. But Liana Page right on the back now of Johan Francis Jones. You can see the 24 in there next of Horton, and then the 72 comes next. That is Maria Bright. So how about that? We've got 1, 2, 3 female drivers in the top 10 in this Festival Cup, and we've got a fourth one on the horizon with Suzanne Goodsall.
I think Liana Page had a decent TKM Festival in this Festival Cup race last year, Jake, if I remember right.
She did, yep, so she's looking like another good run in the Festival Cup again, as Johan Francis Jones runs a little bit wide. That could give Liana Page a chance to get into the top 6. Jodie Newman up to 4th position in front as Page makes a late lunge and then decides against it, backs out of the move in the end. Great pictures from the drone again here at Kimbolton as they come into the Dan Weldon corner. Johan Francis Jones there in front of the 34 of Liana Page and Matthew Horton. Maria Bright there in 9th position behind them, and in 10th place at the moment it is Curtis Granger. So he got away from that curb hopping moment over Derek's corner and is there in 10th position. Here are the leaders. Goodness me, it's been so close behind them. These three have just checked out in front. They're out in front for a long way. Machen, Haynes and Reddy, and now we've got this battle for 4th position, which is now Jake Campbell-Mills in front of Jodie Newman. He's fought his way up to P4 from the back row of the grid. Jake Campbell-Mills is back.
Now I'm just hearing, though, there's a few murmurs about his front nose cone. Has he got
a problem with
the front nose cone?
Well, let's have a look. We'll have to look as he comes through, because obviously, having made as many overtaking moves as he has, he's one of the drivers, I suppose, mathematically, who's at risk of a nose fairing.
You've got more people to overtake for a start of you starting at the back of the grid, so there's more chance of hitting somebody on the way through. But can't make it out from here. But
well, let's have a look as he comes towards us. Oh, maybe a little, yeah. There's a bit of a wobble and a vibration. Now, that's not enough to make a clear judgment on it.
Not yet, but we'll know after the race.
Well, the thing is, the bar only has to be out by a couple of millimetres as well. That's the thing, and there's no excuses really for it. There's no leeway as Jake Campbell-Mills sets a new fastest lap of 43.330 in his bid to catch the top 3. Let's look at his card as he comes through. Yeah, you can't really tell anything from there.
It is moving, but the officials, the scrutineers will check all of the carts as they come into Parc Fermé, and anybody whose front nose cone, and that looks like a problem with that car.
It does actually, yeah, that was the
anyone
72.
Whose front nose cone has been pushed back on the bracket.
Yeah, Maria Bright's looking a little weird.
Will get an automatic 10-second penalty.
There's Liana Page up the inside of Johan, and that is going to be a move through. Francis Jones guts back across in time to stop Horton coming through, but Liana Page up into the top 6, and now we've got Jodie Newman and Liana Page in the top 6. Not far behind, of course. 9th is Maria Bright, 12th is Suzanne Gutsold. Not a bad race at the front end of the field for the female contingent in the Festival Cup. It's great to see so many of the top talented women racers are actually choosing TKM as a path to come through. There's a lot of good name drivers in the class these days, as Reece Cullen-Jones has been given a warning. I'm not entirely sure what for, as Horton has another go at Liana Page, who's lost the place again to Joan Francis Jones. Page goes back to the inside, thinks better of it, decides to bail out of the move, but that's enough for Horton in terms of an invitation. He's not quite able to get alongside and has to hang back once again as they go onto the Yamitsu straight once again. Into Derricks, plenty of curb, left, right. You don't use a lot of curb on the exit though. You can use a little on the way in, but not a lot on the way out, because that can kick the car right off, because it's a much tighter second part of the course, part of the corner, than the first part. The left you can carry a lot of speed. The second you actually have to ease off the gas a little bit more because it tightens on the way out. So that's a trickier part of the course there, and a lot of drivers have been spat out there before, including the man who's moved his way up into 4th position, that man, Jake Campbell-Mills, as these two continue to battle, Joan Francis Jones and Liana Page, with Matthew Horton trying to get through on the inside of them both as well. Great tussle. Then further back, that is Maria Bright. Curtis Granger in the 19 being caught now by the 25 of James Buckingham, who had that moment a little bit earlier on. So some good racing all the way through. Continuing on there, that was the 57 we just watched go through the shot. That is the 57 of Harry Wilkinson, who's starting to move his way further forward, but we're out of time on the clock, and that means that this man, Charlie Machen, is going to go into his final lap here at the TKM Extreme Festival Cup final, and this has been a very controlled drive for Charlie. Once he got himself into the lead in front of David Haynes, he was never going to lose it. He's just been on a nice rhythm, controlling the car, controlling the pace. This has been a very commanding effort. Into the left at Derricks, into the right, tightens up on the exit. You've got to be careful when you get back on the power, because the car does like to travel through that apex. Into Dan Weldon, through the double right and onto the TKM straight. It's home and dry very nearly for Charlie Machen. Second for Haynes. Third is not set in stone for the moment now, because Jake Campbell-Mills has come back through into third. Oh, no, it is Alex Reddy. There was a timing issue there.
Campbell-Mills got through though.
But he has got through in a third, we think, as across the line. Machen into first position, Haynes in second, and it is Jake Campbell-Mills who gets through in third in front of Alex Reddy. Just got there on the last lap. Reddy overtaking him after the line just to get a little bit of bragging rights there, but it's Jake Campbell-Mills who finishes third behind Charlie Machen and David Haynes. Reddy is fourth in front of Jodie Newman from Joan Francis Jones, but post-race, Jake Campbell-Mills would receive a 10-second front fairing penalty. Disaster for him, but victory for Machen.
Okay, you had a pretty easy race, actually. I mean, you won very well, but you didn't have anyone breathing down your neck.
No, it was a fairly uneventful race, unfortunately. My teammate Will, he couldn't get started, and he was starting from pole, unfortunately. But yeah, I got into the lead and just gapped it from there and looked after the engine. But yeah, no, it would have been nice to have a bit of a battle.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shame that he didn't make the start there. That was a big shame from him. But from your point of view, you probably thought, well, actually, that helps me a bit.
Yeah, I did. I mean, obviously, it's not nice for a teammate to lose out. It would have been really nice to have a battle, but yeah, I guess it's make things a bit easier, yeah.
Okay, well done to you.
Thank you.
And likewise, in second place, David Haynes. A relatively lonely race for you.
Yeah, it was a bit disappointing, but would have been nice to be on Charlie's tail, but didn't quite get there. So.
Well done to our Festival Cup winners. Now it's time to get busy with the elite finals in the Maxis TKM Festival, starting with juniors up next.